Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP and joining me tonight is my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford. Good evening, Ryan. How are you, mate?
All good, mate. All good. Hope the suntan's looking good, mate. All good to be back. Good to be back on. Good chat the other day there. Obviously, some incomings hopefully. So good to get back on, mate. Obviously, we've got some sad news as well. To start off with, but yeah, it'll be good to chat about Celtic. Like you says, mate. There's not much talking about the now, so no football to go on as it stands at the moment. So it's always good to get on and this time of the season, mate, it's always transfer news, so it's always good to get involved in that, mate. So hope you're well as well, and the viewers for a good weekend, and you had a good Monday as well.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's obviously good to be back to sunny Las Vegas. I'm just really disheartened a wee bit that I never wasn't able to bring the Mallorca weather back with me, mate. I'm a wee bit gutted about that. However, hopefully it catches up with us at some point down the line as we go. As you said, good evening to everybody as well. It's tuning in with us across the platforms tonight. Hope you're all well. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. As Ryan mentioned just a moment ago there, we do have some sad news from the Celtic family, and it is that if anybody tuning in with us wasn't aware, Lisbon Lion and Celtic legend John Clarke, very famous for obviously 1967. However, he was, Celtic's kit man for many a years, been involved with the club, he's always been about the place. He was just a total gentleman. John Clarke sadly lost his life today and passed away aged 84. I just want to wish my condolences over to John's family and everyone involved in his family. That's, this such a sad time. And Ryan, normally when when this kind of thing happens, when it happens in football, and it's the full Celtic family that are going to mourn this, the aftermath of this, mate. Because as I said, John was part of a team that was a pioneer of what we support, mate, and why we go to the football matches and why we're involved in, speaking about Celtic and getting to see Celtic. And, he pioneered everything that Celtic are about, really, and helped to pioneer. So it's a sad day for that.
Yeah, as mate. Obviously, I'm a bit young, so I didn't see John play stuff, but obviously you see videos, you hear people talk about the team and what they've done for the club in that year in that final and all through the years. Obviously, working behind the scenes at Celtic, she was kit man as well. So he's not just done a job as a player; he's done it behind the scenes, like you say, mate. He'll be mourned by the Celtic family and obviously his close family and friends. It's a sad time. I didn't actually know he was not well or the situation behind it. So it's came a
Yeah.
shock to me. I don't know what happened with John. So to me, it was quite sad news to hear. It came out of the blue for me. So that is really really sad. Some of that team obviously aren't with us either. So it is pretty sad when you call legends, JP. I know any Celtic player that passes away that we've all seen and we've heard about or spoke about, it's always sad and when anybody dies in football, mate, but in
Yeah.
general life. But when it's a legend, it's sometimes a wee bit sadder due to what they've done and due to the love for the club and the connection you have with the club. So it's really, really sad, JP. And when it gets to stuff like this, it's hard to really put into words what people mean to the club or what they mean to people's family. It's just really sad, and my condolences to the family and friends of John Clarke and the Celtic family, whoever knows him in Celtic, his close friends from the club as well, and it's a really sad day for the club, mate.
Yeah, as mate, you're talking about a guy who, he gave Celtic 182 appearances. He only scored the one goal, right enough. You'd be slagging Liam Scales for that if it was Big Liam and mate. But John was with Celtic from 1956 to 1971, and as a player, he then moved on to Morton in 1971, and he was there until 1973, making 54 appearances for Morton. Luckily, he didn't beat his goal record that was obviously that he'd managed to do for Celtic. John went in, he continued on in the game. 1977 to 78, he became Aberdeen's assistant manager. So, he's been involved pretty much there. He then came back to Celtic 1978. He was there to 1983. And right up to 1992, he was still working in the game. And his last post was with Clyde in 1992. And then after that, he became, obviously, Celtic's kitman. So he had a long career within the game. He made many friends, as you said, Ryan, and it is a real sad day for the everybody involved at the football club. And like I said earlier, we just want to wish my condolences to John's family and everybody involved in his family at this sad time, and to let them know that our thoughts are with them. Moving on, mate. Obviously, we'll come to some comments. As me and you have been gabbing away here, there's been some comments come in. Leo Porter, he comes in and says, "Good evening, lads." His first comment was, "I really hope this is the answer Kuhn has. He's had a great time at Celtic to those last few months. But if he wants to leave, every player has a price." Obviously, we'll come to that. We'll just touching on some of the comments. And Jem in the comments, evening JP, Ryan in the chat. And also RIP to John Clarke. Paul Maguire, good evening all. G-Doc as well. Evening all. Scott Melville, we will call him. There he's there. Evening everybody. What a name this is, by the way. The Bucky Trucker. Absolutely tremendous. Feesgar Marth, gents. Features to you too, my man. Big Dom, he's in as well. Good evening all. Hail. Theo Isaac, good day to you too, sir. Bernard McLaughlin, I'm glad Kuhn is gone. He's done nothing since Christmas. Interesting comment there. Plunge as well. Evening, boys. Disappointing to see Kuhn leave. Can't we ever keep our best players and bring in more quality rather than sell? Jerry Lappin, Troops, hail. Let's see if there's any more comments. Caden Buck, couple of wee love hearts there. And James says there's only 3 of them left now: Bobby Lennox, Jim Craig, and Wally Wallace. John Fallon's still there as well, who was the sub-goalkeeper as part of that Lisbon Lions team. So John Fallon's still pretty much with us as well. Lindsay Greenwood, evening JP, Ryan, Ange, and all the chat. And Don't Change says good evening everyone as well. As I said earlier, good evening to you all. Hope you're all well. Ryan, the one that's kind of been making headlines all over the social media and various different sources over the last couple of days, mate, is Benjamin Nygren. So obviously our good man Fabrizio Romano, who your mate George Mendes is really good pals with apparently. So I'm taking it off of you, wee man. It's a great source, and the deal's all wrapped up and everything. Is it slightly a case of, due to John's passing away today, just a mark of respect for the football club, which would be tremendous? If so, do you think that's why we haven't seen an announcement yet for our man Benji Nygren?
Possibly. Or there might still be things to tie up, who knows, because we've seen nothing from...
One of them being Liam Scales in your cupboard again.
He's definitely not going out for this season, I'll tell you that. I'm not having any more bleach at the cupboard, so sorry, Liam. You can get pre-season, get yourself fit, and you can jog on. No, I'm only kidding. I think it might be that, JP, or it could be the case of his other team hasn't announced anything yet either, so there might be things to do with is it Northern as well, so there could be something to do with him as well. So who knows, mate? But
I found it interesting, though. Do you think, Ryan, with the Romano's comments, because he went right into detail with the longevity of his contract and It was up to 2029. However, there was an extension to go to, an option to go to 2030. So I found that pretty interesting, Ryan, when we see that amount of detail, and then obviously a couple of days later, it's still a wee bit quiet at our end.
Normally when he reports something, or when any sources report that the deal's done, it's normally within a day or two it's wrapped up and done, and the guys Celtic Park and stuff. But maybe he's still on his holidays or something. I really don't know what the hold up is. There's probably a reason behind it. But as far as we're all aware, it's done, and it's just a case of announcement. I think it's the same with the boy Callum Osmand. I think he's agreed it's just to announce him as well. I think they two are just about done. So again, things could change, but by what we've seen and what we've heard, by everything you've seen, they two are done. So, but the boy looks a talent. Again, this is before we get clipped in 6 months' time. I'm not saying this guy's going to be a superstar. I'm not saying the guy's going to be anything, because I don't know the guy. I've only seen him play through YouTube, through wee small bits. I think he got a hat-trick against Fenerbahce. I've only seen small bits of him. We've got some of his data, and if you base it on data and analysis and assists and goals for that season there, and for what he can do, he's going to be brilliant. But we can't base a signing on stats and data, because we've not seen him play. So it's until he comes. But there's a big hype about him when about Denmark in it.
Yeah.
Aye. He obviously is
FC Nordsjælland, they play in Denmark, don't they?
Aye. He's a Swedish internationalist, so he's at a good age. The only reason we're getting him for cheapish, if you want to call it, is because his contract situation. I think he's got 6 months left in his deal, roughly. So if he didn't have that in his deal, you're probably talking 5-6 million by the season he had last year. I think it was 16 goals or something. So there's big hype about him in Denmark. Again, there was big hype about Thiago home as well when he came, a young player. It's not worked out just yet for Thiago, but listen, it could next year, who knows, when he comes back for his loan spell. But if you just look at analysis and stats and the clips we've seen, I think we can get a wee bit excited. He's not a project player. For what I'm looking at, he's a guy that can come in and play as a number 10. I don't think he's a winger. He looks like a 10 to play behind the striker, or possibly mould him into a striker, who knows. But he seems very exciting, JP. Direct, quick, creates goals. I'm only based on what I'm looking at. I've never seen a guy play live or anything, so we can only go on judgment for what we see on research, and for the recruitment team have obviously done their due diligence on this boy. So, and it's just all reportedly that he's signing, so we can only base it on that. So if the deal's done, JP, and he signs, we'll see how he turns out. But it's just encouraging that we're getting deals done sharpish this year, because this time last year it was just as either coming in, as Bernardo coming in. How much are they coming in for? There was nobody else roughly speaking about. There was no links at all. Apart from sausage links that we make in our breakfast, there was no links about transfers. So it's just good to get deals in, links at least anyway, mate, early doors, and hopefully we get him out of the line, the young boy Osmand as well. We've signed the boy from Morton as well as centre back. So it's just, well, no, they're youth players or project players or players to come in. It's just good to see he's getting business done early, JP.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Money, how was your holiday, JP? Yeah, it was tremendous, mate. It was good to get away with the missus and the kids. 11 days in the sunshine, blistering heat. Didn't drop below 31 degrees the whole time we were there. So yeah, it was very good. Back to reality now. Back straight at it. My lad, he went back to his school today, so he was in today, tomorrow, and he finishes up on Wednesday for another holiday, which is six and a bit weeks. So yeah, it's going to be about 100 mile an hour in about 3 or 4 days in my house, I'd imagine. But yeah, I seen a wee comment there regards to Benjamin Nygren. I don't know who it was. I never caught who it was that commented it in. And the comment alluded to, we seem to be paying for this guy as if we're paying for the price of a project. I think with this one, Ryan, personally, when you look at our good friend William Glavin, and the data that we've been given about him, and just watching videos of the boy, you can see this lad, as he's got something about him. You don't get in the Sweden team and alongside guys like Isaac and boys like that. Surrounding yourself with really talented boys, and you get man of the matches, and you, like you says, he's scoring hat tricks against Fenerbahce, and excuse me, there's something about this lad, and I don't think it really matters. And Ryan, I don't know about you, mate, but I don't buy into this narrative of Celtic don't really spend a lot of money. And for me, it doesn't matter how much money Celtic spend. Because for me, Celtic are damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. I think Sean on Friday with he's hit the nail on the head. Celtic fans are crying out for Celtic to spend money. And Celtic go and spend big money on Adamida, and they spent big money on Arnie Engels. And some Celtic fans are saying, no, that wasn't the right thing to do. So Celtic are getting this guy at what they would call in football a bargain price. And fans are now saying, we're not really spending a lot of money. Why not? So for me, I don't think you can win there, Ryan, because, you're wanting one thing in that way and you're wanting the other thing in that way. And it's, for me, prices don't matter, mate, because you look through the years at Celtic have always done some great business. Tom Rogic was buttons. Henrik Larsson was buttons. Lubo Moravcik was buttons. You look at Dyson Maeda, absolutely buttons. You look at Matt O'Reilly, buttons. Rio Atati, buttons. They've all done very well for the football club. They've all been successful. If you were to sell Dyson Maeda now, what would Celtic fans be wanting Celtic realistically to be asking for? We're talking upwards of 25 million quid to buy his talent and the speed and everything he possesses. Modern day now, you're looking at that and you're saying, well, that would be reasonable. That would be just a starting point for a conversation. Celtic fans see this lad Nygren, and he's coming in at 1.7 million or whatever it is, just under €2 million. But that's not good enough because Celtic only shelling out 12 million quid on this guy. I find it bizarre, Ryan. I really do. I don't think it matters the price of the player. What matters to me is how important it is to get your recruitment bang on. So it doesn't matter if you go and spend 15 million quid on a guy or 1 million. You go and spend 15 million on a guy, Ryan, it doesn't guarantee you anything. Great point with Anton Rogan there. Didier Agat was 50 grand from Hibs. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter the amount you spend on a player. Kieran Tierney, Ryan, we've got Kieran Tierney in a free. If we were to buy Kieran Tierney from a club who was alien to us and, Kieran Tierney had no affiliation with the football club, what would, off the top of your head, mate, what would the price be for us to go and shop and buy Kieran Tierney?
So probably talking 25, 30 million, probably.
Absolutely. Scott Melville second that opinion in the comments here. We get KT free. He's a £30 million player under contract. So fans seem to get hyped up with money and prices and everything else. And obviously we were on the Axom channel just a short time ago there, mate. You look at the conversation we had that day, and Paul John Dykes mentions to us about, Celtic fans need to get used to being able to normalise what price is this and that and what you're actually paying for players. But to me, I don't get hyped up about, this player's, we've only spent 1.7 on him. I look round and I go, well, Dyson Maeda only cost that. That doesn't matter the amount of money you're spending on the individual. It's about what his input is going to be for the team. And I firmly believe Benjamin Nygren, like you says, Ryan, is coming into play as a number 10. Because in my opinion, mate, we haven't replaced Matt O'Reilly. And we need somebody like that in the team. Everybody seems to think that, Nicholas Kuhn might be leaving the club. This guy can play in the wide area. However, automatically 2 and 2 together, he's going to be Kuhn's replacement. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because we're also being linked with X amount of wingers. So, I don't know, mate. I don't know how you feel on it, but I just feel that, there's a lot of talk about this price. And to me, it doesn't really matter.
Like I says at the start of the show, mate, and it's been publicised, the only reason we're getting this guy cheap is because he's only got 6 months left in his deal. The only reason we get KT cheap is because he's a free transfer. But don't kid yourself, KT will be getting probably, again, I'm not behind the scenes, right, so I don't know, I'm just roughly guessing, he'll be getting a massive sign-on fee to cover some of the wages he'll be losing for Arsenal.
Oh no! Listen, no doubt about it. But what I meant,
No,
when what I put across was if we were to buy him.
Oh, aye.
What you talking?
Listen, he'll probably getting 40 grand a week. He'll probably the same wages as McGregor. They'll probably the 2 highest earners at the club, or potentially KT might be, because of how good he is and obviously where he's coming from as well. The only reason we're getting Benjamin cheaper is due to the cheapness due to his contract. That's what I'm going by, what everybody's seen. If we had to sign him in his 3 or 4 years left his deal, you're probably talking 8, 9, 10, whatever million, because he's done really well for them and he's one of their better players. So now this is me just looking at data and looking at the fans' reaction. I've not seen the guy play, so I can't comment on everything about him. I've only seen what my own research is telling me and what people are saying. So in terms of money, I do think certain positions and certain players for certain positions in the park, you need to pay, in my opinion, better quality. So for me, it didn't work out the Lager Bielka and the Rossi so far, right? But for me, if a top quality centre back, you probably need to spend a lot of money. Unless you get a real gem for your scouting. Striker the same, probably. You need to go, like Kyle go very cheap. He was 4.5 million. That's not, it's cheapish to a lot of clubs, but to Celtic, it's not really. These days it should be, because like we spoke about with Paul John Dykes, realistically, either was a second, third choice striker for Norwich, and we paid £9 million. So to get a top striker, you might need to pay about a 15 million or 12 million. So sometimes we will need to normalise. Let's be fair. Austin Trusty was 6 million and he get relegated. So we didn't. It's not like he was Sheffield United's main man every week. He was relegated. So it's not like he was the standout player. So we're just a bit down the food chain where we need to pay bigger because of the league and everything else. It's going to happen. Listen, I'm not in the club. I don't know, but bet your heart, we'll spend 10, probably 11, 12 million pound a player. I think we will.
Yeah.
I don't, it depends on the position, but I do think Dermot Desmond's already come out an article saying the money's yet to be spent. So they've got a budget, a big budget. Apparently, it's bigger than last year's budget. So it's not just about the money as well. It's if the player that they're wanting is available. Because I've seen a lot of negativity on Twitter now, and why we're all signing. Do you know what I'm going to swear? It's fucking June. Players are not back pre-season yet. Going to relax.
Well, I'm going to have to intervene slightly, Mr. Clifford, and actually turn round and say to you, I will bring, yes, that would have done me another day and got me a wee sangria. However, not because you swore, to intervene in your point there, I'll cast your mind back to just a couple of days ago. We have signed a goalkeeper.
Aye, Ross
Doohan as well. And by the way, Kieran Tierney's also in the door, so there's 2 signings that we have announced.
I'm not going to swear again. I'm only swearing because it's annoying me right now. I've been critical in the past of the board and the recruitment and how slow we do things, etc. And I will be if we don't sign quality to the end of the window for the playoff. And listen, we all will be. It's June. The window's been open for what, a week or something, less than a week. Players aren't even back training yet. Settle down. Like, no, we're going to get 5 players in by the end of June. It's not going to happen. people on holiday, people are playing in these World Cup games that Celtic might want, people playing international friendlies, people are family things or holidays. It's settle down, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing right
There's
now about this club to be negative. Absolutely nothing right now. Is there anything to be said about this club that can be negative now? We can be negative during the season and we can be negative about how slow we can do things, but right now as it stands, how can any of us as a fan base be negative? We've just done, after a decent season, take away the obviously the final. It's pre-season, man. Like, settle down.
But even forget about the final, we won a double. I mean,
Aye,
I've said
but
this
it's just,
already. Like,
I don't know why there's negative about signing player. Listen, I'm the one of the first people for it. If we're not doing things quick enough or we're no signing quality for the playoff early doors, then I'll start going, here, listen, speed up here. We've got a playoff in like a week or two. We've not got anybody in who's enhanced us yet. What's
yeah,
going on here? Then I'll start going questioning things. But you can't question anything when you're just not even pre-season yet. Fully, you've not even
yeah.
played your first friendly game yet. The manager's not even back the building yet when he looks at it. Here's some of the players. So
I mean, he's
just
on the beach wearing his Gucci Crocs, isn't he?
he's wearing his Crocs. So just I think sometimes, listen, we can all have a wee
Getting
moan
photos
and
with
a
Conor
groan
McGregor
and
and his jammies.
I just think sometimes just relax, man. It's still the summer. Still people are you've
Yeah,
got there's people saying Nicholas Kuhn's leaving. Nicholas Kuhn's on holiday. Who says Nicholas Kuhn's leaving?
yeah.
Because the media says it. Nicholas Kuhn has not left Celtic as it stands right now. So a report says it might be in
Obviously,
Bangkok.
we are going to
Aye.
touch on
But for
something
me,
that has
JP,
emerged tonight.
I just think we just need to sometimes just relax, man. It's still summer. Seen 3 or 4 weeks' time, we've only signed Nygren, Osmand, and Doohan. Then we'll start going, right, where's the links for wingers that we've seen last week, 2 weeks? Then we'll
Yeah,
start maybe. But just relax, man. It's, no, I mean, just sometimes we just need to, I'm one of the first people on here to moan, and I'm telling people to relax. So just chill, man. Just chill.
a wee comment came in there from Think Celtic 67. They've said, why are Celtic not posting about Nygren? I've got a personal opinion about that one. I do think that Celtic might have had intentions to do that today, but due to the circumstances and obviously out of respect, as John Clarke's passed away, they might be just going to delay that announcement to give his family time to mull over the news and obviously the Celtic fan base to get their head around that news as well. So I feel that that announcement will happen in due course. But obviously, Ryan, you touched on the boy Nygren and how he looks. I mean, to me, he looks very calm, very composed. But listen, he's not a shrinking violet. He's no small either. He's big in stature. He's got a wee bit of aggression about him. I've seen him. He's got good physicality. I'm just wondering, Ryan, do you think there's a possibility that Brendan's going to switch things up and maybe go with a 4-2-3-1, predominantly using Benjamin Nygren now as the number 10, and that kind of, and maybe using Arnie Engels, Rio Atati, and Callum McGregor as the sort of main controllers. Obviously, the Atati and Engels thing will probably rotate because I don't imagine Callum McGregor's dropping out of team, so I'd imagine it'll be a rotational thing. But let's not forget, I mean, we've got Luke McCown there. We've also got Paolo Bernardo. So I'm trying to imagine this, Ryan, because what came into my head, obviously, was that is Brendan going to be playing Maeda through the middle? And I'm only thinking that, Ryan, is because of the amount of wingers we're being linked with. So just say out of the 4 or 5 wingers we've been linked with, Celtic signed 2 of them. Now you've got Jota still rehabbing and coming back. Kuhn, as you mentioned, isn't out the building yet. James Forrest is still there. Yang's still there. However, Celtic want to add quality in that department. So can we be looking at a potential formation change next season then, Brennan?
I think he's got to have it in his locker, JP. He's got to. I think. Well, I think I'm probably going to say aye, because I'm being honest, JP. I think see that formation that let's be fair, it's Guardiola that's brought into football. Guardiola's made football as one-dimensional, full 3-3, and you need to play this football, and you need to play for the back, and you need to build up. You don't need to build for the back. We've seen it again just now. I mentioned to you in the chat during the game at Ibrox that I think we drew, didn't we? Aye, we drew.
Yeah.
The first half, when we were playing tappy-tappy, it was nice, but we were losing the ball and they were kind of getting a wee bit. And the second half, Casper went direct to Ida and we get more joy out of it. So sometimes you need to go direct. As much as you've got a philosophy, what they call it these days, and you've got a way of playing, you need to go in between what they're doing as well, and you need to combat what they're doing. So next year, I'm not going by what I've seen Russell Martin play. Very rarely will I see them going direct. I think it will be more possession based. Right? They might go direct the odd game, but it will not be the way under it was with Beale and Claremont. It was just long ball. I'll be really surprised, right? So we will need to, as Roger says, we'll need to look at what they're doing, who they're signing, how they're going to be, and he'll need to adapt. So I think he will adapt, right? And I think it will be, put it this way, but it looks like, we don't know this guy, right? We've only gone by videos and data and analysis and whatever.
Yeah.
He looks like a number 10. Anybody for Denmark who's his fans might tell us different. If that's the case, then to get the best out of this guy, we need to play him as a 10. So that might be where he changes and it means he adapts. And my either through middle, listen, it could work again, but there's no guarantee he's going to score the goals again. No guarantee. So this is why for me a striker's a priority, because either might have scored 20 goals. All-round play probably's got to improve under pre-season. They might do that, but we need to sign again. Probably, I know there's talk about the guys for Japan and stuff, but
Ryan, see, you're saying there, I know we need to sign another striker. It's not necessarily because you're saying yourself, these guys aren't good enough. They need the amount of games that Celtic play, Ryan. They need help
as well.
They can't predominantly go to the wall for us every single game. I mean, Celtic play upwards you're into the 60 marks, games a season with the amount of competitions they're playing in and the amount of games they take. So when you say that there, I just want the viewers and stuff to, it's not because you're saying he's not good enough or he's not, it's because we need that robustness to be able to have elements of quality that we can bring in and out the team when needed, when guys might need a wee rest here and brought out the team there and well, it's a squad game now, isn't it? So that's how the modern game's looked at now. It's not really looked at as, right, you've got your starting 11, you go back to the Martin O'Neill team. It was predominantly the same start. You could pick a starting 11. Whereas modern day now, we're all sitting on this, sitting guessing about, is Brendan going to play Yang today? Is he going to play McCown? Is he going to do? So it's because of the squad, you need that sort of robustness to go and attack all fronts.
It's to that competition, because let's be fair, I'd imagine Johnny Kenny's going out on loan. I've heard a wee snippet that might be Dundee, but I don't know if that's true. I heard a wee through the grapevine Dundee are interested in him. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that through the grapevine. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. But I'd imagine Johnny Kenny will be...
It's a way to listen to Big Vic Vaughan doing a seminar about his favourite carpet samples, isn't he?
I'd imagine Johnny Kenny will be going on loan, and then it'll be Ida Maeda. So you're probably going to sign another striker. So, but especially for European football, JP, I don't think we can go on a European campaign with just Maeda and Ida. I think we need to sign somebody. Again, people might come back to me, but I did say it on Friday that in terms of ability-wise, I think we can sign a better player than Maeda, as in a striker ability-wise, in terms of all-round play. But in terms of what Maeda gives you, the intensity, the fitness work, defensive work, some strikers can't give you that, because some strikers...
He's unmatched for that, Ryan.
Some strikers can only really... Some strikers, I'm going to probably say like Kyogo, right? See when he left the attacking third, he was a passenger. He was not used to you, because that's not his game. But when he was the final third, give him the ball and score your goals. So, and I think we need a striker like that. But I want an all-round striker. Listen, it's going to cost you money. They're hard to get these days. You need to go to Haaland and your Salah to get that right. But there will be a player out there that we can get, round about our budget, that's a decent player like that, and potentially maybe 23, 24. He's played a good bit of football. So, but I do think for the European side, we need a a big powerhouse, I think, JP up front that can score goals as well, just to add to what we've got. And listen, it's all going to be guesswork. Who we're signing, who we know, what do we want? It's all, like you say, JP, we don't here just talk about it. Who do we think? But I do think a change formation could be, especially domestic as well, JP, because I think sometimes, like I say, get back to that Guardiola thing, I think it's too suspect. I think it's too, what do you call it? What's the word for it?
Predictable.
Aye, that's it. So I think
Predictable.
that's too easy to. I think see last year with Rodgers, the first 4 or 5 months, people didn't know what was happening because Kuhn was going here. Obviously, Jota wasn't there, but Maeda was going in there. Ida was there. Kyogo was there. They were all changing positions. The last 3 or 4 months, it was kind of easy to kind of manage against certain games. So I think if you then do change your positional sense, formation, whatever else, IPI, your number 10, then it gets you thinking because people will go, right, is he playing as a, listen, it's all football's changed now. Is it a false 10 or is it a 10? What is he doing? Is he going out wide to play? Is he a forward?
Yeah.
It gets defenders thinking because if he goes out there, just say it's Kuhn or mate, then they can nip in. So you can do loads with a 10, mate, but we're no Brendan obviously fancies that. I know then we'll see. You'll probably see pre-season how we're going to shape, mate, but I do think that formation could be something of that burner.
Yeah, an interesting me comment again for the Bucky Trucker. Says we can't play the same way as Taylor is moving on, and his input on the inverted midfield role won't be there next season. Now, I've said this to you quite a few times, Ryan, that I do fear that part of our game is going to be missing next season. And I think Greg Taylor's one of those players, Ryan, and I've said it a number of times now to you lads, even in the group chat, that I think Taylor's one of those guys, mate, that will probably when he moves on to pastures new, albeit he's no yet signed with anybody. He's one of those guys that you probably not appreciate what you had until he's no longer there.
Maybe in terms of that role, I would say possibly. But if KT plays that role, I've no qualms about him, JP, because I think he'll adapt it. I think I'm still pinching myself that we've got this guy. Listen, people might go, he might fail. Listen, he might fail. It might not be KT that we think will turn up, but I'm going to put my neck in the line and say I think he'll play a lot of games. I think if Rodgers is going to play an inverted role, I think he'll play an inverted role. But I think he won't play that role. I think if KT plays, it'll be a flat 4 and it'll be just up and down, bombing forward, up and down, old school fullback. The way I like it. That's why I like my fullbacks. Just be fit, athletic, get up and down. And KT, see, especially for the European games, JP, that's going to be humongous now. That's no slat and Greg Taylor. Listen, Greg Taylor's fit, he's an athlete, but in terms of KT, the levels, it's night and day. He's up and down. See, Taylor was getting back, but it's no as quick as what KT can do. But KT maybe not as good as Greg Taylor on that. But it's probably going to split debate, Stripey, because people love what Taylor done and how good he was for us in that role. They've not seen KT play with it a long time. Can they adapt to that? But I'm going to say, listen, for me, KT's better than Taylor at every single aspect. So for me, if whatever KT's asked today, he'll do it. I think he's that good of a player. I think if you're that good of a player, you'll adapt to what you're told with the manager. And I think it only takes a few sessions, mate. And I think he'll adapt it. Because obviously last year we seen it with guys like Kuhn. Didn't know how good he was going to be. We seen it in pre-season, man. They were popping that about like they've been there for years. So I just think it's with Taylor. Listen, I'm sad to get him to go in a way because as it stands at the moment, we've not got anybody else. We've got one left back. Adam Montgomery. You've got Adam Montgomery. Is he going to be taking the mantle?
Matthew Anderson as well. Mitchell
So,
Frame.
that's what I mean. So you've got young guys, well, not young guys, but you've got the odd young guy there. I think it's maybe time for guys like that to Montgomery go if it's Queen's Park or Partick Thistle, go and make a career for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, but no, I get what you're saying, JP. Listen, Greg Taylor spots opinions with fans. People love him. People think he's not good enough. People think he's just okay. And listen, that's fine. It's opinions, but I do think he's a brilliant servant for his JP. I'd have liked him to be the left back behind Tierney. I think he'd have been a good mix. But sometimes, like I says, people's cycles are finished, and I think maybe it's just time. Greg's time at Celtic's finished, and he'll go with best wishes and pastures new, and hope he's a good rest of his career if that is the case.
Yeah, and if he is watching, I've always nicknamed you Wee Oxo for a reason on here, because I think your time at Celtic, you've been different gravy, wee man.
He's probably blocked my screen. Who's that guy there?
He's probably well like that. No, I'll just watch him with a Celtic tat on, no bother. Never mind him with a hoodie. Just that guy with an interesting tan. But no, listen, I think he's been a remarkable servant for the club, and he's one of those players I think that flies under the radar. He's one of those players that gets a doing a lot of the times off of Celtic fans, but I've loved watching the progress of him coming from Kilmarnock and becoming the player he's became now. It's night and day apart. Interesting comment there. If we don't change, says if we play a 3-5-2, we will have that extra man in midfield, so won't miss GT. Not in a million years is Celtic playing a 3-5-2. It's not about the set up. And they've never set up that under Brendan Rodgers. So they'll never do it. I'm telling you the now, they're not doing it. Not a chance is that even an option for a... You maybe get a 3-4-3. You're not getting no chance. I'll be shocked if Brendan goes to a back three. There you go. He's never done it yet. And he's time. So the 4-2-3-1 is probably the change I could see happening, Ryan, over the summer. You obviously know Brendan likes to tweak things in pre-season and do things. And like I says again, second season in a row, mate, we're going to be coming up against some good opposition. But yeah, 4-2-3-1 is predominantly the way Brendan likes to play. If he's got the manpower to do it. He's played 4-3-3, but we will miss Greg Taylor for that invertedness. I think he's brilliant at it, and he helps the team in so many different ways. It's unreal because he's a good technician with the ball, and that's what's so good about him. Ryan is bang on though. KT's a massive step up for that. A lot of Celtic fans seem to have doubts about KT being able to come inside. I keep having a joke about KT, and if he was sitting here, I'd be noising him up and all about saying his right leg was for stoning on sometimes. I've seen him gone for a wee switch of play with his right foot, man, and it's one of the ones catch that leg, Ryan. You know what I mean? It's like his leg goes away up above his shoulder before his body takes over. But that's all kidology. Tierney's a world-class player, in my opinion. And you're bang on, Ryan, about, massive step up for Greg Taylor. That's no slant on Greg Taylor either. I think Greg knows that as well, Ryan, which is why Greg might even be taking the decision to move on as well, because he knows he's maybe not going to be the first choice, if there is such a thing now in a modern game. Again, it's a squad game, so I don't think there is that thing now about you're going to play and he's no, and he's going to be a backup. And I think fans have just got this thing about them where they like to label this. Like I says, I'll miss Greg Taylor if he goes, because I've been a fan watching him over the years. Obviously, other news earlier tonight, Ryan. It came from a social media outlet called the Get German Football News. Seem to have quite a big following, over 70,000. And they have reported a story that talks between Nicholas Kuhn and RB Leipzig are actually at an advanced stage. Now, I know earlier tonight, Ryan, you've mentioned that Nicholas Kuhn might still be on holiday. However, we're not privy to what's going on there. Going off the back of that, they seem pretty assured, and they mentioned a couple of other players who are also in talks with the same club. So right off the bat there, mate, in terms of Nicholas Kuhn potentially going to RB Leipzig, I think it's a master of his own downfall. He absolutely annihilates them single-handedly in the Champions League this season at Celtic Park. And therefore, is he potentially getting a move to that club again? Because he was with them as he was younger.
I was just to touch on Michael's comment there. Facts, Michael, will say with talk sense, but no, I get what you're saying, Michael. I did see that for Big Chris. Now, I love Big Chris. I think he's brilliant, but to say that Benjamin Nygren looks a project, I'm going to disagree with him on that big time, because he played a lot of games last year for Nordjend, Nordjend.
FC Nordirland.
That's it, Nordjend. So to say he's a project, he's 4 caps for Sweden. It's not a project for me. Listen, I could be wrong, and Big Chris could be right. He is far more knowledgeable than me, and he's played at a high level, and he's really good at what he does. But I'm going to disagree big time. Celtic are only getting him cheap again because of the contract situation. It's not because he's a project player. This guy's a decent player by what you look at from everything. So I agree with you, Michael. I think some people just need to sometimes just relax and chill, and just wait and see what happens in the next few weeks. But in terms of Nicholas Kuhn, JP, there's been names.
Sorry, Ryan, there's a wee comment just come in there for Big Dom. He says Leipzig don't have much money. Don't kid yourself, Dom. Honestly, don't kid yourself, mate. You're talking about a top operator in the Bundesliga. I know we took a line of them in the Champions League. They had a poor season in the Champions League, but listen, they're top operators. Red Bull, I mean, come on, like they do things properly, and they've got a way of working, and they generate a lot more finance than what we do, and that's because they play in one of the top 5 leagues, and the TV money and everything that they get alone is probably more than Celtic would get if they didn't qualify. Certainly more for the Champions League, that's for sure. So no, I mean, Red Bull alone, mate, stands for mega bucks. They own Salzburg as well. So I'm not buying that narrative at all that Leipzig don't have much money. In terms of a fee that as a Celtic fan, I would put to you is, what would you be looking for Nicholas Kuhn? What would you think was fair, Ryan, in terms of a Nicholas Kuhn? If we were getting Nicholas Kuhn sold, what would you be looking for in return? Now, I would ask anyone the same question. Be realistic in your estimations, because, in my opinion, Nicholas Kuhn was good up till a certain point in the season. He also showed a lot of inconsistencies in the season as well. I still think he's got a level above him, Ryan. I still think there's a wee bit more development in him as well. Sometimes he holds on to the ball when he should release it. Sometimes he releases it when he should be holding on to it. There's elements of play there. I'm disappointed in some of his backtracking and his work rate. Some interesting comments coming in. 15 million, 20 million. Obviously yourself, Ryan, if we sell Nicholas Kuhn tomorrow and he's going to Leipzig, mate, what are you, as a Celtic fan, what are you looking for realistically?
Well, obviously what you said there about Leipzig with the comment, Big Dom. There's a possibility they're going to sell Benjamin Sesko for a big bit of money, so they're going to have some money to spend. So,
yeah,
if they do want to sign Kuhn, then they'll need to spend a bit of money. And listen, if they do sell Sesko before they sign Kuhn, Celtic are no daft. Celtic go, well, they've signed him, they've sold him for, just say, 70 million euros, 60 million euros.
Yeah.
Well, Kuhn's not going for 10 million. It's not happening. Celtic will start doing what clubs do to us. Well, you have made £45 million last year. You've got £100 million in the bank. You're Celtic. Normally £3 million, like Admira, right? Instead of £3 million, he's 9. So Celtic, I've got a chance now to do that for certain players, i.e. Nicholas Kuhn. So Nicholas Kuhn, I would put, you probably start asking about 15, JP, I would say. I would take 15 with a sell-on clause, even if it's 10%. No way to profit, just a sell-on clause, because listen, they could go there and be really good, or they could not be, but you'd rather have that just in case. If it was a straight-out cash offer, I know it's not cash, they all pay installments now, but if it was no bonuses, no clauses, straight up, I would take 18 to 20, mate, probably. I think you've got to ask for that one because if he was a bit more consistent, you'd be asking for it. For me, it's his consistent levels that let him down. Bear in mind, people are saying that, listen, I'm not going to be too bothered if he goes, right, as long as we get good money for him, right? But you then need to replace him, and you need to replace him pretty quick, because he scored over 20 goals last year. Now, that's no hard. No, sorry, that's hard to replace 20 goals. Because there's talk about obviously them across the water selling Dessers, right? And they're not bothered. If I'm a Rangers fan, I would be, because signings have to score 20 goals. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. So 20 goals for Kuhn to lose is a lot of money, a lot of goals to lose. So you then need to replace that. Because realistically, we've not even placed Kyle yet. So I would say, if I can get a cash offer at £18 million straight up, you'd probably take it. 18 to 20 million. I think Celtic probably see him as a £20 million player. Probably. I think I've got a wee small murmur that if he is going to Leipzig and that is the case, he's not left the building yet. People are talking that he's signed the contract today and he's away, he's off, he's signed, he could be in a few days' time, but right now as it stands, he's still a Celtic player, he's on holiday as it stands, so it's hypothetical right now that this is going to happen. If it happens, listen, I don't imagine that we'll not replace him. We will replace him. Like you say, JP, there's been links upon links about wingers, so they're targeting wingers, and that's even before they've even signed Benjamin Nygren. So, I think there'll be a bit of movement to and from Nicholas Kuhn, I think, depending if it is Leipzig or if anybody else. He was talking about Newcastle as well. So we'll see what happens. But I'd probably say if you get 15, 18 million pounds, JP, I'm not going to be too greedy, because I know he's one of your star players in terms of this season, but I think you can replace him. His consistent levels, I think you could probably replace. But I'm not happy that he's going, it's all right, he's away. I still don't want him to go. I think he could make us better next year with consistent levels again. But if he goes to IP, then he goes with our best wishes, and he's contributed to a double. He's done well for us in Europe. But I think the biggest thing for him in Celtic is the performance against Leipzig.
He obviously contributed last season as well when he came in the January as well. So
I think that's the thing,
last season as well. However,
if he goes to Leipzig, it's probably on that game, because he was a standout. Now that's just why I'm saying about European football. See if Celtic have just say they signed, I don't know, right? Just say they signed the boy for Brøndby, the striker, right? For just say it was £15 million, right? And then he just say he scores a hat-trick against, I don't know, just say Atalanta next year in Europe, right? Guarantee you, they'll follow him, because he's done well against them.
Listen, 100%.
So who's to say that somebody else might not bid for him in the summer? Right, you pay 15, there's £30 million. Listen, that's how football works.
Yeah.
It only takes you to have one good game, and boom, you're off. That's all it takes.
Yeah, 100%. However, I'm more in tune with the man for the comments here. Postman Tim 67. He says Kuhn's inconsistency mostly is because his attitude stinks. He was substituted twice at half time late in the season, and he was not even trying. If we were offered 10 million for Kuhn, I'd take it. I've got to say myself, I'd snap a hand off you for 10 million. I think 15 million would be robbery for Nicholas Kuhn due to his inconsistency. I think if you go back and reflect on the season, people are saying he had a great Champions League. Well, didn't he, Ryan? You hit the nail on the head, mate. He played well against Leipzig, and that's predominantly maybe got him his move, because he ripped him apart. Take away his goal against Bayern, I don't really remember him in the Champions League, Ryan. I'm going to be honest. I don't really remember off the top of my head anything apart from that Leipzig game. Nicholas Kuhn. Now, I don't mean to, for anybody in the comments and anybody tuning in, I don't mean to come across as if I'm being ungrateful there as a Celtic fan. Don't get me wrong, I think Nicholas Kuhn's a very good player. But if you're asking if Celtic want 20 million for him, man, I don't think he's done anything to warrant that, personally. I think we bought him for 3. If we got offered 10 or anything resembling 10, 12 million quid, I think Nicholas Kuhn is going anyway. So I think that's a great bit of business for the club. We're still well in profit on him. Well, no doubt the way Celtic is, the way Celtic do things, Celtic will have a sell-on clause I mean, we've not even kicked a ball, we've made a fortune. We've made millions for Frimpong, and we're going to be making millions for this tournament in Como, and I'm now hearing Matt O'Reilly might be moving on. There's big talk about Napoli coming in for him, and you know, Celtic could be making a fortune before we've even kicked a ball. It's scary. This is what I go back to, Ryan, with our football trading model. It's frightening, mate. And if we didn't have that, Ryan, we wouldn't be in the financial state that we're in just now, because we don't make our money based on Scottish football. I mean, what is it you get for winning the league? Is it £2 million?
Something like that. It's not good.
So, I mean, you can win as many titles as you want. You're not making the amount of money Celtic are sitting with in the bank if you don't run the business properly. And that includes your trading model and the way you do things. I think we get just under £5 million for Burnaby. We only bought him for 3. But the same with Big O. I think we made more money back on Big O. I would need to check that, Kade, and I'm not too sure if that's accurate. But if it is, fair play to you, pal. I wasn't sure it was that amount. I thought it was a lot less. My off the top of my head was about 2.5 million. Comparison to other leagues and other, the riches of the Premier League and the Bundesliga and other leagues that we mentioned earlier, it's pittance, absolute pittance. So for me, Ryan, I personally think if you ask, if you're asking realistically, I think 10 million is a great deal for Nicholas Kuhn to go. Now, Celtic fans might not be happy with that, and that's fair enough. But I'm just trying to be as realistic as I can be, because the guy is a brilliant player. It was good watching him last season. But he had a lot of inconsistencies. And when he's good, he's brilliant, he's tremendous. But when he's not good, there isn't a... Cheers, Gary, thanks very much, mate. There isn't a happy medium in there, Ryan. So you don't get an in-between. He's either good or he's really, really poor and off it. And for me, the ones that were really poor and off it, for me, they outweigh the ones that he did do well. However, like you mentioned, and like Celtic fans have said, the ones that he did do well in were in the, 1 or 2 games in the Champions League. But he never did it consistently in the Champions League. But again, mate, through the years, mate, we've been on here chatting for how long now? And through the years, mate, that's the thing with Celtic in Europe. There hasn't been that great consistency until last season, when we got quite a lot of good results. Take away the Dortmund.
I do think, especially on social media, JP, I have seen people being kind of dismissive of Kuhn, and I don't think fans should be too dismissive, because he's been a big part of the last year now. But consistency levels, maybe he's got to maybe brush up on that. But in terms of Kuhn as a player, he's one of your major assets as it stands right now. So if he was to go, we then need to replace him. I do like him. I like him going forward. He's very good. I think he lacks a bit defensively, and that's what sometimes kills you in Europe. And it puts a lot on Arthur Johnson to then defend as well. Because again, listen, as much as Tony Ralston's he's decent, right? He's an okay backup, right? Eventually, we're going to need to look to get better than Ralston to back up Johnson. If we want to progress in Europe, the quality level for Johnson and Ralston, again, Ralston's playing at a far better level than I've ever done. He's playing with Scotland, he's playing at a really high level. But the drafting quality is night and day. And for me, a club like Celtic, I'm not saying it should be Arthur Johnson quality level, but a wee touch below, and you don't see any difference. I think it's a major difference when Ralston goes in to Johnson. It was the same when Taylor went out, and then we had Burnaby come in. It was night and day. So Nicholas Kuhn, for me, if we can keep a hold of him, listen, I'm being honest, right, right? It might sound, if you look at the other fans are saying about 10, 12, 15, right? How much would it cost to replace him and his goals? That bit of money, it's not £1 million, do you know what I mean? So if you look at that prospect, would you rather keep him for one more year and see what he can then do for you and enhance the value again, because he is on a good contract
I
already.
get you, but then obviously the flip side of that, Ryan, would be you've said earlier on about Maeda not guaranteeing the goals, so couldn't guarantee that form against us.
Nothing's guaranteed, and a lot of people are saying that he wants to go and he's not happy. How do we know that? Because the media told you. We don't know anything. The media will put out that Brendan Rodgers is not happy at Celtic. Oh, is he not? How? Oh, because he was abroad and he was wearing Crocs, and that's the way they talk. Like, nobody knows that no Celtic players are unhappy or they're happy. We don't know. The media will portray that he's away and he wants to leave. But he might know.
Yeah.
He might. But we don't know. We can only believe what we see or somebody tells us or whatever. But we don't know anything. But listen, if Nicholas Kuhn has to go...
Well, look at Kyogo. I mean, Kyogo, Brendan told us Kyogo wanted to leave.
And we all thought he was all right.
Moved on. But again, you've got to look...
Aye.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But, you know, you've got to look at that, Ryan, and say to yourself... yeah.
It could be the case, JP, that he is not happy, right? Or he wants to go and he wants to enhance his career, which is fine. Listen, see if a team like Red Bull comes in for you, probably because you're the league they're in. It's not in terms of the Champions League side. It'll be the league and possibly financially for him, and maybe progress his career in Germany might be better for him, right, if that's the case. But for me, if we get a good money from there, I'm probably go, right, okay, Nicholas, maybe you want to go, but good money for you. We're trusting that they'll get a replacement in worth the quality and the goals, and we'll get it in. But the other side is, if you keep him for another year, he'll probably get you 15 goals, potentially 12 goals or something next year. He'll probably do all right for you in the league. He might do well for you in Europe again, and you're not losing out on anything. But you're not for me, it's a catch-22 with players, right? Because if you sell somebody and don't replace them, then it's obviously you're damned if you do that, and then if you don't, if you keep him, it doesn't say he's not happy, so why should you not sell him? So you're kind of damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So listen, if he wants to go, let him go. There's no matter who it is, if it's McGregor, listen, see McGregor says the more listen, lads, I want to go. Go then. As much as we love him, you're an amazing player, Callum. If you want to go, go. Nobody's bigger than this club. This club will evolve, like you say, JP, with Larson left. And I wouldn't say we've moved on, but in terms of quality-wise, but we've had brilliant strikers who have scored goals. 40, like Chris Commons, Griffiths, 40 a year, Edward and Berry, Hooper, they've all scored goals. So we will replace them eventually, but I don't know what you think, mate. That's what he wants it. The only way you sell him is if the price is right, and if he is potentially unhappy. If he's willing to stay and the money's not right, then keep him. Don't force him out, because does he really need to leave if he's not unhappy? I want to say so, mate. I want to say so on that, personally.
No, I would agree with you there, Ryan. In terms of no forcing him out the door if he's not unhappy. But again, if he's another player that wants to leave, then like you say, Celtic need to do what's best for Celtic, Ryan, and try and get the best deal possible as we can. Because at the end of the day, it's still a business. But there's no player bigger than the football club, mate. And I've always said that, regardless of who it is. So it's one of those ones. Gary, we comment there. He says, "JP, what's Kuhn on a week, mate?" I've not got a clue, man. I've not got a clue.
I don't think
I wouldn't mind getting a tap. I wouldn't mind getting a tap off on me, Ryan. I'll go to the Wonder Bar one night with him or whatever. But no, I don't know, mate. I would be lying if I began to even try and see a figure. So yeah, as I said, it's something that none of us are ever going to know. And yeah, that'll be a mystery, I think, for most of us, Gary, to be fair. But a lot of these guys are on. Kuhn attacking top draw at times. Obviously, work rate defensively shocking at times, although it did improve in the department toward the end of the season. I just think there's massive inconsistencies in his game, Ryan, and that's why I think it needs a. That's why I think staying would also help him, working with Brendan and developing further if he could. However, there is that element of if he wants to go, then Celtic need to hopefully do business quickly, and that way he goes, and we don't have a guy there that's unhappy or someone that you're having to pacify or keep him happy and his representatives happy in order to move forward or try and move forward with a player, because it'd be best for the football club if he just moved on and his side of things is happy and then the club get the best deal possible for him. Another one I wanted to touch on, me obviously, since you were last on Friday, Ryan, Celtic have made the signing of Ross Doohan, the goalkeeper. We had him as a kid and he stayed with us for quite a few years, and then obviously he moved on. Done well last season with Aberdeen when Mitov, I nearly called him Miovski there, because obviously Miovski played for Aberdeen as well. When Mitov was out injured, and now obviously Celtic have agreed a 3-year deal, mate. What's your thoughts on Ross Doohan coming back to the club?
Well, he's a better goalie than Scott Bain, for starters. So right away, you've upgraded the third choice position. It's just like for light in terms of the Scottish quota as well, JP. So you've let Scott Bain go, Ross Doohan comes in, and then it's up to Ross if he's good enough and impresses Brendan to be the second choice or even first choice. Listen, I can't see it because you've got Casper and Sal there. So I think Ross will know. I think Ross will be under the illusions, JP, what he's coming in to do. He's probably coming to maybe try and help the team, help some of the goalkeepers, competition. It's always healthy. So I don't think he'll listen. He'll have the belief that he can be number one. He's got to have belief. Any player at that level, you've got to have belief that you can be the best in that team and you can play every week and whatever else. But he's come with a bit of experience. He played well for Aberdeen at the end of the season there, and obviously Mitov was injured. Done all right. So I don't have any qualms about him playing in Scotland, JP. If he was to come in, if Sinisalo or true Scott, probably that's me get one of these well,
Scott, no, he's no. I've seen him in goals. He's no. Trust me. Remember the term, a holy goalie? He's a literal. He's the actual holy goalie. There's more holes in him, honestly.
But no, I think it's a sensible move, JP. Somebody that's left, and then you add him in, probably a bit better than Scott Bain, I would say so anyway. And he's got the Scottish quota as well. So it's a place for Europe as well that we don't need to add, I think. So no, listen, it's not something I'm happy or I can't wait to see him, and I'm no why we're saying him. It fits both parties for me, and I don't think it's a signing that we can really criticise, because it adds to, like I says, adds to the quota, adds to competition to the two guys that are there, and he's been here before, so it's not going to it's not going to phase him playing at Celtic Park or go to Lennoxtown. He's played against these guys, he's played at the club before, so I don't think it's a bad one, mate, at all.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. I really do. I think I've quite liked watching Ross away for the club. I think he's a good goalkeeper. I think he's quite solid. He's very aggressive the way he comes out, spreads himself really well. I think he's coming in to play under a top class goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel. Another really good goalkeeper, and Sinisalo. I don't mind saying that now because I've seen enough of him to have a decent opinion of Sinisalo. I really like him as well. And I think and from what I've heard about him, he's quite a character lad as well. He's not a young boy either. He's, what is he, 27, 28 nearly?
And so, aye.
So he's very good with the ball at his feet, Ryan. That's another one as well. So we're going to have like 3 goalkeepers who are all comfortable playing with the ball at their feet. no doubt over this pre-season we'll get a good look at the three of them. I just hope now Casper's shoulder has healed up and he's been given enough rest time now for that to happen. I just hope he's been on the chicken. And yes, like we've announced a couple of people, mate. We're just talking about one of them there, Ross Doohan, Kieran Tierney, and we're just about to announce a couple of others, mate. So yeah, we're well underway, mate, and it's early doors as well. So happy days. I think Ross Doohan will be a great acquisition to the club. I think obviously Brendan must really like the look of him, Ryan, which is why Brendan's moved to bring him back. I know what you're saying about Scottish quota, but Brendan could have very easily promoted someone and went, right, you'll be the next one. So he's obviously thought long and hard. Again, good business. He's brought him in on a free. So to get a goalkeeper of that experience, that stature, and again, they've done that with Casper as well. So that's what I say, mate. It doesn't matter if you go and spend 25 million on a player or you bring him in for free. You know, if you get a good player, you're getting a good player. It's about the importance of recruitment. It's what they do when they come into the team, what they bring to the team. Let's say he's a boy there as well, Ryan. He'll know people. So he'll know Callum McGregor, James Forrest. He's been about the place. He knows the football club. I think it's important, and it'll be an interesting role as we go forward. A wee comment there for Gary again. He says, JP, when you get a minute, can you give my missus a wee good luck? She's in hospital tomorrow. Listen, all the best. I hope everything goes well for her.
All the best, Gary.
That's a wee shame, Gary, and your wife, mate. I hope everything's okay and everything goes well for you tomorrow. Obviously, the next one before we finish up is the young lad Callum Osmand. Now, we've had it on good authority that our former Celtic, the man that refused a Rangers fan to sign his jersey, and Mr. Craig Bellingham. Craig Bellingham. Because I'm thinking of the boy Bellingham, Joby Bellingham, now it's running right at Dortmund. Craig Bellamy, he's had a good, a good hand in this one. Had a chat with Brendan about him. And prior to this deal, Ryan, we've saw Celtic do really good deals with Fulham in the past, mate. Matt O'Reilly was at Fulham, Moussa Dembele. So we've kind of been down this road before, mate. And it's not my first rodeo with this one, but all the signs from the lad Osmand are all signing positive. We've had a chat with William about him. We've seen bits of footage of him. He looks fast, very, very fast, and I'm really positive about it because again, a bit of youth and energy into the squad, and to the refreshness of it all. He's 19, however, he's not coming into the B team. He would be coming into the first team. For that, itself a wee bit refreshing for me, Ryan, because it brings along an interest, as in, whoa, this lad must have something about him, mate. If Craig Bellamy's chap Celtic store picked up the phone to phone Brendan to say, here's one for you.
It could be a stroke of genius. It could be a genius signing. Or it could be one of the ones where he doesn't play and he's in the B team and then he's sold out on loan, he's out on loan and he's sold in 2 years' time. So it's probably going to work.
Jesus, you've got him loaned out, man. He's not even played a game of fives yet for the team, man.
Well, I think he'll be. Listen, he's very highly rated in Fulham. Again, I've only seen snippets of the boy on YouTube and stuff on Instagram. I don't know the boy. He's done all right for Fulham's his under 23s, a reserve team. They've offered him a new deal, and by the looks of it, he said not to go to Celtic. So normally these bigger teams snap up some of your young guys, and we've obviously maybe tried to do it with Fulham. Again, it's one of the, you can balance this out here. Is it good that we're going and knitting players for other youth systems or reserve teams or teams down south? Or does it also tell you there's nobody in your youth system that's good enough to come into the first team and play? I think it's both from JP. I think it's they're trying to get talent from elsewhere, bring them in, maybe a year or 2, 3 year, sell them on, for the club, big money. And I think it also proves as well that there's nobody coming through that's good enough up front to come in and take over Johnny Kenny, come in, challenge Eder and Eder and whatever else. So, but no, listen, the young boy looks exciting in terms of what he's done for Fulham and the youth ranks, and obviously under 23s down there. So I don't have nothing against it. I'm no wow, but Osmand signing, or I'm no why be signing a guy Fulham. Like I says, this is for the first time in a long time. Anybody we sign, JP, I'm waiting till they come in and then I'll comment, because we can sign somebody for East Stirling and the bloke could be an absolute belter in 3 months' time. So I know it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying I'm not going to comment on anybody, no matter where they sign from, the age they are, who they are, because in 6 months' time I could look like a right idiot and the guy could be brilliant. And I've said he's going to be an absolute out and out terrible player, and he's finished knowing to play. What's this guy did it pre-season? He's honking. So just look at Tom Rogic, hardly kicked the ball for years, and then 1 season, absolute wizard, genius for years, man. So listen, players peak at certain times and they come of age at certain times, but it sounds like the boy looks a good prospect, and we'll just see how he comes in, mate. I don't know how you feel on him, but just need to see how he goes, mate. But I do feel even with him coming in, we need to go and spend probably a good bit of money in a top door striker if we can. Whether or not that's the play for down south, abroad, or whatever, but I do think we still need to add to that department. But like you say, that's for obviously future reference.
Yeah. Well, obviously, me and you had a private chat regarding Callum Osmand, and we took it. We were chatting about the Fulham fans, and we saw the outrage of the move, and how they're treating that. And this is a lad that's not even yet played a first team game for them. But the way they're chatting about him, Ryan, we picked up in some of the comments. Me and you had a chat just a couple of weeks ago about this, and when he was linked, and it was, they were outraged. I mean, you seen some of it. It was as if Celtic were signing a superstar. The way, the way the chat was going, and people were commenting, and so I found that quite interesting, personally. Again, I don't really know much about the lad, so I have to excuse my ignorance on that one. But I'm excited because a young lad that fits our trading model as well. Again, when you hear the words of he's coming into first team, you think to yourself, well, Brendan Rodgers is signing this lad. So if he's coming into first team at 19, like you says, Ryan, there's no another boy there that's, going to make the step up from the B squad in that position. So, or possibly could it be the boy Cummings was going to be the next one? He's now going to West Ham, and, is this lad now coming in to do the damage there? I was quite excited in January, mate, when we tried to go for David Sterlick. I thought he'd have been the next one to come in, and I liked. We chatted about him when he was a standout for Bratislava, as much as there wasn't many that night for them. They get rattled 5-1, but he stood out. I mean, a good player when you see him, Ryan. And a good man, Barry Bannon. Obviously, he's seen him playing for Slovakia, scoring against England, doing some good things there. So, maybe comment there for Sleekit saying he must be 30. I don't know if it's a wee late night for yourself tonight, sir, but he's only 24. So David Sterlick, I don't think he'll thank you for that comment, that's for sure. He's only a young man, he's only 24. And in 29 matches, Ryan, for Slovan Bratislava, he scored 20 goals and 5 assists, mate. It's not a bad return.
No, it's decent, mate. No matter what you think about the league, I've always said, maybe I'm biased because I played there myself, but goal scoring is the hardest thing to do in football, in my opinion. That's why strikers are paid the money they are. That's why they go for the big fees. That's why they're always sought after. That's why they're paid the top dollar. So to score goals at any level of football, you've got something about you. Be that amateur, junior, Belgian league, Scottish league, whatever. A goal scorer for me is a goal scorer. Obviously, as you go up, you might struggle to the level, but if you get back down again, you'll score again. So for me, that's why strikers are always big fees, mate. Just look at Haaland, and you look at the talk about Sesko for Leipzig. He's done really well for them. So, and that's why that's why if he was to come in for offers, Maeda would be for us top dollar, because last year he scored a lot of goals. So that's just the way football is. But
I actually had fear about Big Sesko, because I actually feared for the guy's safety at one, because last time I seen him, he was in Big Carter Vickers, his hold dog, and him that night, but never seen him again since, mate. But it was it's quite refreshing to hear about that move now, because obviously
I'm actually a big fan of the boy Sesko. I like him. I think he's really good. I think he would. I was talking about going to Arsenal or something. I know they were talking about the guy Facebook in Lisbon as well, but I think that's the sort of player. That's the sort of player I would obviously. I know, listen, financially it's not going to happen, but that's the sort of ilk that you want for European football. Absolute goal scorer, just in and out, powerful, strong, scores goals, and I know I've said that plenty of times, JP, but that's why these strikers up abroad and down south go for big fees, because they win the Premier Leagues. It just shows you. Look at Arsenal. They've not won anything major in obviously the league, because, in my opinion, they've not got a top striker. They've got good defenders, Odegaard and a boy like Martinelli's good out wide, but they've not got a Haaland. They've not got a Salah or even a Jota. Like they've not got that sort of player. So if Arsenal had a Haaland, would they have won the league last year? Potentially. Who knows? Who knows? So I think that's why strikers are so important, and you need to have a good striker all the time, mate.
100%, mate. I also heard that Arsenal were looking at the big boy Mateta from Crystal Palace. Found that quite interesting. He's a machine, that big fella. No. I read a wee. It was an article today, and that's seemingly where Arteta's that was a headline. Arteta tries to sign Mateta, so it was a kind of one that kind of rhymed with one another, and I found it quite interesting, because that big fella's a machine, an absolute machine for Crystal Palace. Whether he's just, is he good enough to take that step? I mean, Arsenal finished second in the league the last couple of seasons, so, and they play in the Champions League now, so whether he's good enough now to go and make that jump, time will tell if that does happen. But I was having a joke for anybody, by all means. I wasn't saying Sesko's a bad player, by the way. I'm only having a laugh because we did get the better in on that night. And listen, it's good to have bragging rights and have that in your locker. But wow, I mean, you talk about a guy, as Ryan mentioned, folks, about top quality, raw quality, right in front of you. And just that night, Ryan, CCV just mastered him well, man, and he just couldn't move. Even you look at the other side, Lewis Openda, he was getting fed up with Austin Trusty that night, because he was just big. Every time Openda moved, Trusty was with him the whole time. That's probably that's probably the best game I've seen Austin Trusty play for us that night. He was awesome. The two of them were colossal together, CCV and Trusty. And by the way, just before we finish up, Ryan, I want to put this to you, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, because Brendan Rodgers is that type of manager, he improves people. So I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Trusty's a surprise next season to us all, because I think he's the one that could improve again. I wouldn't be writing him off. The Celtic fans just wrote that big guy off and meant he's not good enough. He could next pre-season with Celtic, mate. Bearing in mind, a lot of these players didn't do pre-season with us last season. So a pre-season with Celtic, mate, could reignite Austin Trusty. And this time next year, we're all going, we were all wanting rid of him, and look at him now. We're all going like that. Oh, he needs to sign another 5-year deal. We need to keep this guy. And that's what I mean, Ryan, about, I just wish certain fans wouldn't be so hasty to throw the towel in with people so quickly, because sometimes it can just come back to bite you.
I'm just going to answer that wee one for Dom there. If we buy a quality striker, wouldn't that... Personally, for me, Dom, if that's me, I'm taking it as a compliment that they're buying him for competition to help the team and to make me better as well. Because if I'm a striker and somebody signs and I need to go, right, well, I need to be better this year, I need to have a good pre-season. I need to score in pre-season and impress. For me, I've always listened. It's just my opinion. Dom's quite a good. As a good comment, Dom. I'm a big believer you can't have enough quality in your team. So if you get married at either and you go and sign somebody for 10, 12, whatever you sign, who's a top quality striker, and you've got the boy Osmand there as well, people might go, how do you fit them all in? Well, like we've all said, JP, it's a squad game. The boy also might play the League Cup games. You've got European games, you've got a playoff, potentially you've got a Europa League or Champions League, so you're going to play a lot of games, so there will be a lot of to and fro for guys up front, but I get what you're saying, Big Dom. Listen, I don't think he seems the sort of guy that would take it as a bad thing. I think he would just go, right, okay, then I'll just go and get fitter again, I'll be an athlete again, I'll score more goals next year. But in terms of Trusty JP,
that would be a compliment to Dyson, Ryan. In my
that's
opinion.
what I feel, mate. Aye.
However, it would also then give Dyson freedom because Dyson's shown his versatility for Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dyson's one of the players, Ryan. You could put him where, if Tierney was injured, put him at left back, he'd still do a turn. I just think he's a wee workhorse, and he's took to watching him grow at Celtic over the time he's been, Ryan, and how much he's taken to Celtic. You watch him when we won titles and we won trophies. He's with his family, his kids are on the park. It's amazing to watch how much Celtic's grabbed the hold of these guys, and I think he's also a loyal guy as well. I don't think Dyson's one of those ones that you could offer him 100 million. I don't think that's what it's all about for Dyson. It's about happiness. And I think if you bring a guy in who, let's face it, see if you sign any player for any position, you're bringing them in to make your squad stronger and make it robust. So again, to a fan, you're looking to complement the squad. You're not going to bring a guy in to go, right, Dyson, he's going to take your place. Because Dyson's one of the guys. I mean, see if you didn't know Dyson was a footballer, Ryan, you'd look at him and go, he was in the last of the samurai, man. He's a warrior. You look at him, he just looks, he's got that kind of fierce look about him.
He's mental, man.
And that's what I'm saying. He's got that kind of, and I'd imagine he's a total menace in the training field, by the way.
Will be, mate, aye. Obviously mentioned Trusty. I'm not going to write him off just yet. I'm going to give him to Christmas time. And then if he's no get stronger and he's no defensively consistent, then I'll probably say maybe it's time to obviously either let go or replace him. But I'll be honest, if we can get I will be honest, if we can get the money back from JP, I would take it. Because I think we can buy better than Trusty. But that's not to say he can improve. I'm just saying hypothetically, if somebody came in with a £6 million offer tomorrow, I would take it back and go and sign somebody else. But that's obviously down to the manager to obviously see what happens in pre-season. Hopefully Austin can get better pre-season. I think he'll know himself. I think when he looks at last year, I think Brendan maybe had a few harsh words with him in certain games, and I think certain players now know the mentality to be here at this club, and that's one thing. You can have all the ability in the world, and you can train right and eat right and be the best guy ever in training run. But if you've not got the mentality to play at this club, then you'll not be here. It's as simple as that. There's reasons why I didn't make it. Probably one reason like that. There's guys who have far better than me. There's guys who are far better than some of the Celtic players probably that didn't make it because they didn't have a mentality. Like there's probably, like, you've heard it on Simon Ferry's podcast, Open Goal, guys he's played with that were probably far better than some of the guys he's played with, but didn't make it due to maybe pissing about, no really bothering, no doing this right, nothing. It's mentality.
I think the size as well. When you hear him when he talks about his career, and he doesn't really bum himself. Some guys will do it and some guys won't, and as I said, it's I think I think it's more injuries took its toll on him, right?
No, I'm not talking about him. Just see like guys who play, like he says.
Oh right, aye.
It's like for some guys who were really good, and they just didn't make it due to if it's just weren't up to that level in terms of mentality wise. For me, football's mentally hard. I know people they get loads of money, but you need to be mentally strong to play at this level. I know that did they play people go, Ryan, why are you saying that? Well, just talking to Baz like this all the time. You speak to other guys in the game, but if you're football yourself, mentally you need to be strong to be a football player at that level. It's something you've got to be, especially when you get injuries. You need to be mentally strong to come through that, do your rehab properly. It's just part and parcel to this level, and I think I'm a big fan of Engels, but maybe guys like him, Trusty, maybe Ida, I don't know, Yang, I don't know, maybe guys like that, maybe they need to improve mentally to go again, and maybe that's one thing, JP, that some of the signings that you sign as well is maybe something that they sign you on as well, your mentality to be at a big club, but it's so positive, the club new, JP, I'm not wanting to see, I'm sick of seeing
I
negative
think,
stuff.
see, just lastly, Ryan, touching on what you were saying there, I think the mentality is a big thing there, because you look at guys that are coming for other teams. I mean, again, it's a far better level than the Scottish League, unfortunately. That's no Celtic's fault, that's where we are. In my opinion, we've outgrown Scottish football now. We're now at a point where, we're looking to do our damage now in Europe and try and progress there to see if we can start making inroads. Can we get better next year? Can we do better than the knockout stages? Can we do this? Can we do... Because we really gave Bayern Munich a fright. But we all know, I mean, everybody and their granny knows Celtic aren't going to win the Champions League. But we can certainly give teams a fright of that ilk. Can certainly start putting the cat amongst the pigeons and saying, listen, we can play as well. So, you look at, Engels, Trusty. They've came for teams, Ryan, that maybe don't have that fanatical fan base and the demand on them every single week that, by the way, you need to win here. But not only do you need to win, you need to win in a way that is dead attractive on the football and on the eye, and you need to send the fans away home smiling and partying and going to Gracie's bar for a big, session. And if you don't, if you draw the game, Celtic fans are disappointed. If you lost the game, don't go out for a meal. Don't go into the city. Don't you need to hide. That takes a lot of getting used to, Ryan. And just being with guys who have been involved with Celtic for years isn't enough, mate. You need to experience it. You need to experience the highs of it, and you need to experience the lows of it. And see, like, say, that Scottish Cup defeat there that we've just had. As much as Aberdeen will be better for that, and Jimmy Taylor will be better for that, so will some of the Celtic players, Ryan. Because you then set a mental barrier in your head, as in, like say Callum, Jamesy, they'll all be setting that target. We need to be better now. We need to be better now. We need to do better. The other boys, right, we were off it there. We saw how disappointed Arnie Engels was on the day because he knew it wasn't his best game. At Celtic, mate, because of your demand and what we put on the players, they're not allowed to do that. So these guys are getting used to that, Ryan. And if he needs assurances and anything else about has he done well enough, all he's got to do is look across the city and look back at their games this season. They were getting booed off at half time. So he's never experienced anything like that. But what I'm saying is the mentality thing is really important, Ryan, because these guys are coming for clubs who don't have that demand. But when they come to Celtic, Ryan, it might even be their first ever trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Might be their first ever winners' medal, Ryan. Engels a young boy, young lad. So 21. So I remember what I was doing at 21. I certainly wasn't standing on the podium at Celtic Park lifting a trophy above my head to 62,500. That could be daunting in a way for young lads, Ryan. And there's a bit of getting used to there. So I'm not going to be too hasty, Ryan, and throwing these guys under a bus and saying, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to give these guys a wee bit of time. And I know they say at Celtic you don't get time. You do under Brendan, because Brendan talks about it. He's been a big advocate for it for many years. It's called development. And some boys develop things differently for others. So you need to take it as it comes. Like I says, when you win, You do well, you take all that praise and everything else. When you lose at Celtic, Ryan, it then builds something within you, I believe, which is character. Now, that character might not be there when you were at Augsburg or Sheffield United. But I guarantee you now, when you look at that demand that's coming in for the outside, and you've been there more than 6 months, and you know we need to bat it here, these guys will be better for that, Ryan.
Oh, of course. Like I say, mentality is massive, mate, in football. At any level of football, it's massive. But in terms of playing with Celtic, and even them across the water in this bubble that you call it, it can be quite daunting. Because like you say, Arnie Engels, big signing. As soon as you walk out of town, fans are wanting photos, and people might think, oh, it's only a 40, but getting that every minute, every day, it's not something you're used to. I'm not used to doing that. So see, if I end up, listen, if I ever become famous and I was a superstar at football or anything, and why you wanting photos of me? Well, what's going on here? Why can't I go to town without getting hassled here? I can actually remember one day I was walking down the town one day, just like it was like, I was actually working, it was a normal Tuesday afternoon. And I walked past. Now I knew who it was because obviously I'm a Celtic fan. It was near Beaton, just walking yourself. It was a sunny day, by the way, no wind, no rain. Walking about the town like this. And I'm marking myself, you don't want to get recognised. It's the only reason you're walking about with a hood up. Why would you walk about a hood up in the summer's day in Glasgow?
Aye.
So that again, it could not. That couldn't be. Well, it might not be the case, but I assumed. I just seen his face. I just went, all right, just a wee nod. That was it. Just to say, listen, I'm all right. I'm all right. But he was like, what about this? Just lying a guy street like this. So I knew right away he was hiding himself. There's no reason why he was doing that. Because let's be fair, I know we all like a bit of comfort, JP, but we don't walk about anywhere going like this, do we? Very rarely, unless you're hiding yourself or
No.
something. So it takes a lot of bottle, mate, to play with. Even him across the water, by the way. Listen, you've seen the pressure they were under last year in some games, and as much as we laugh and joke, JP, that you take that home with you and you go, Jesus Christ, man, I don't want to see any fans anymore. I don't want to.
Well,
Go.
look at the first derby defeat, Ryan, and the fan that turned up outside the stadium shouting, "Where's the captain?" and everything.
That's what I'm saying.
That was dangerous, Ryan. That was so dangerous, mate. But again, mentally, mate, a lot of Celtic fans probably lapped that up and laughed at that, mate. But for me, mate, that was really dangerous. That was very dangerous, considering he wasn't that far away from James Tavernier. And he could have had anything in his hand, Ryan. That's the severity of. We all probably looked at that, and secretly we all maybe had a wee chuckle and everything else. But see, when it boils down to it, mate, that isn't funny. That's just as bad as Sinisalo being targeted by a glass bottle. It's mental. It's absolutely mental.
I laughed at it. Listen, I laughed at it. Look, Tav's getting that, but then see me like, well, wait a minute. Listen, that's
dangerous.
All right. But no, like you say, we're just about nearly finished. But that is the thing for me. You can have all the ability in the world, but if you've not got a certain mental strength at this level, you can maybe just say, guys, no, listen, this isn't me saying they didn't have it. I'm just saying by what it looks like through being a fan. Maybe guys like Mikey Johnson, Timo Pukki, or guys who maybe came. Mikey Johnson was a brilliant prospect, brilliant wonder kid they called him, and then injuries and other things. But maybe the injuries didn't help his mental strength because listen, I've been through it myself. It's hard, man. See in the gym and yourself, and it's people say about money. Listen, you see when you do it for 9 months, a year, money means nothing to you. You want to get back into your job, your health. Football players without their body, their job's knackered. That's their job. Their body's their job. So if they've got a sore leg, they can't play. I know they might be still getting paid, but they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
It's like me. If I get injured, I might get paid, but I'm not doing my job. I'm in the house.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I'm demented. I'm not feeling well. So, but it's a big thing, mental strength, JP. But we'll just see what happens next few weeks, maybe transfers. But there's not. I don't want any negativity in the next kind of few days and weeks because just as much as listen, I can be negative as we all know, but just let the club
enjoy the rest of the summer. Let Brendan get back. Let the club do what they do. And trust in Brendan Rodgers. That's what I would say. We've got Brendan Rodgers. I mean that to me that lights up like Blackpool eliminations, mate. When you say that, Brendan Rodgers, it's not just a throwaway name, or it's Brendan Rodgers. I mean, he's that famous. Conor McGregor wanted his photo with him, no, and as
I did, Nick. I get Mrs. Beg to touch me up. Aye.
aye, Mrs. Beg was around giving his knee a wee rub.
Aye.
She brought him back a packet of snowballs.
Aye. Only like the toffee ones. I don't like the mint ones.
Aye. Was that water I can hear running in there? Don't go in there, boys, he says to his pals.
You going to shave my back?
Aye. There's a pot under the bed. You couldn't do us a favour, boys, could you?
Oh, man.
But no, listen, we could go on and on. We will be back on Wednesday evening with another Celtic chat. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in across the platforms. 317 people. If you all have a minute second, can you please hit the like button, share it amongst the Celtic family, and if you've got time, hit the subscribe. It's totally free. We don't charge for it. Anybody that's suffering mentally just now, anybody that's not feeling good about themselves, anybody that's, thinks you're nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to, message the channel. James Alexander, you're welcome in the comments, pal. What I would say in your reply to that would be, so's Christmas. Christmas is coming, I know.
Well, so Matt, 10:30.
That's the difference. That's the difference between the two. Christmas does turn up, the other one doesn't.
James, if you like OnlyFans, mate, I've got mine at 10:30. If you want to subscribe and you want to see some of that, big man.
Aye.
You're more than welcome.
In between that.
You're more than welcome. I don't hold any grudges about team support, big man. It's all about the money.
In between that, James likes to watch videos of Jota and Kuhn having a game of crosses with Scott Bain and goals. But all the best to you, James.
Aye, all the best, mate.
You've tuned in at the wrong time. As I said,
take care.
G-Doc, I can't help you there. And if I tried to, that would just be taking a piss. But as I say, no, I can't do anything about that. But anybody that's not feeling good about themselves, anybody that's, think you're sitting there and there's nobody to turn to, hit us up on social media, Celtic on the 60 View. We're on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. You can even message the page via the community section of the YouTube channel. There'll always be somebody there to listen to you. And don't think you can ever sit there and no deal with your issues. It's better to chat to somebody. Sometimes it's better to talk to a complete stranger, Ryan, because you can open up a wee bit more because you don't feel judged if it's your family, or you might feel that you're being judged with your family, or certain individuals in your family have got that much of a high opinion of you, and you know how it is, mate, with big families and stuff. So, like I say, anybody at all, give us a wee message. Myself and Ryan are in control of the social media pages, and we will certainly be in touch with you right away. We are pretty active on them daily, so Ryan is anyway. He likes doing the crosswords and that on the. I'm fed up with the notifications I get on Twitter. He's never half a word searches and that he does during the day when he's on his break for the day job. You need to stop that, Ryan. I keep telling you.
Listen, mate, I need to do what I need to do, mate. It pays the bills of crosswords, doesn't it? So, but no, and obviously in a serious matter, it is obviously due to the off season. A lot of people do depend on Celtic JP for their fix, if you want to call it, or to keep their mind stimulated. So, it's definitely something that we'd like to have a home about and on here. And if anybody has any issues, if it's mentally doing with football, anything, just give us a wee shout. even Big Alan, even Barry Bannon, or even Baz is obviously good friends as well. So if at all you want to get a chat about, we can help you if we can. We'll have a wee chat with you if it helps you. One person talking to one person is better than no talking. So if anybody does want to be chatting, you still want to get a laugh with us outside of this or anything at all, just give us a wee shout on the platforms.
100%. There's a wee question for you, mate. You need to. Hopefully, you can answer in a professional manner.
Basically full time, Barry, no, but it was like youth academy stuff, first on and filming and stuff, Barry. But no, I didn't make it full time, but I thought I could have, but oh my knee. So I was one of the guys the pub in 10-year time. Remember that time I done my knee and stuff like that? No, but
Aye.
no, I didn't make it full time. I wish I did, Barry, but played all right well, I suppose. But no, I've not played a while due to injury, mate. But no, I didn't play 10 level at Celtic or anything like that, mate. No, not at all.
Right, folks, I want to say a massive good night. Thank you again for everybody that's tuned in with us. My name's JP. This is Ryan. We'll see you all again on Wednesday. For the time being, take care and a massive hail. Good night.
Hail.